Okay, so this is part 2 of DevTalk with Agent-RedJackal on some of the work I've done for VineRealms. If you haven't seen part 1, I have that on my channel. I'd encourage you to watch that so you can learn about all the stuff in the Vaporwave area, because we're going to be covering the Pizzeria, the arcade, and possibly the alien zone, or the alien ship today. But before I actually get into the Pizzeria, there was actually some stuff related to Vapor Zone that I missed. Some videos that I just dug up recently that I want to actually show about some of the earlier parts of the development process. I think it was like one of the... So I said that with the pizza area, that was an extra zone that we were going to work on, and then I ended up combining it with the Vapor Zone. Now, the pizza platform, I may have mentioned that I made a little thing with pizza platforms, and this might have actually been even before I started working on the Vapor Zone, this might have actually been the earliest thing that I worked on for this game in Unity when I was testing out how to make platforms. So let me show you here if I can drag that into Unity. Here, or not Unity, drag it into XSplit. That's right. But this sort of shows. See if I can recite history here. So I did like a little I was just testing out how to do platforms, and I made like a little simple area with like giant pizzas with the little pizza model that I made. Just testing out how the running and the jumping works on this like little simple test area that we had. I think this was the test area we were given, the very first one for VineRealms, so that we could actually like test making out terrain and stuff. Let me move that. So that is like the earliest thing I worked on, I think even before Vapor Zone. Now, about the platforms, I mentioned that the reason why I had made this little area here, well, actually no, the reason why I made the little like hidden secret teleport area under the water was because very early in designing the Vapor Zone, I thought the little like platform challenge I had over here was too hard, and I actually have a video showing me trying that out very early before we had changed the jump height and everything like that, like the running speed and the jump height. So let me drag that into XSplit and show you. So I actually recorded me trying to go through that, and actually shows the... Okay, that's not the one. Actually, wrong one. Let's see, did I actually put that in here? I hope I did. Oh yeah, okay, wrong video. So this should be it. This shows me doing the platforms here. So you can see the jump height was very... I'm not sure what the numbers are exactly, but in order to get over some of these platforms, you had to like jump. You had to run and jump very precisely to get over there. And while I was testing, and I was like, oh, that might actually be too hard for the players, and that's why I had originally did the whole secret teleport thing under the water, so that people would have an easier time getting up to this area. But like I said, this is like way before we actually changed the jump height and everything. You can see how like short that jump is when you're trying to get over the platform. So I had to you have to really run in order to get that jump just right. And I know when I was recording this, I actually fell off quite a few times here. Did I actually? Nope, I got it. Yeah. But if we had kept this jump height, it wouldn't have worked for some of the other areas because of the different scaling in some of the other areas. Like some of the areas have like really big steps and stuff, and that's why it was good to actually change the jump height. And you can see how early this is like. You can see the differences in like how the Vapor Zone looked compared to now. That was very early on. So I'll remove that. And I have one more video, the other thing that I removed that I was going to show. Let me turn the volume down on this. Let's see here. Just real quick, because I want you to hear it. So before I actually so basically did a lot of the music in the game. And he also did the background music in the Vapor Zone as well. Before I hit him up, because originally, like, they were kind of wondering if I was actually going to do the music for the Vapor Zone, and I was originally, and then I just couldn't get the song that I used to loop right. And it was something that I used, let me drag it here. It was, the song that I used was from VineRealms, the Vapor Wave room with the Vaporizon. And I really love, like, this is one of the, my most favorite songs that I worked on for VineRealms. And I did kind of want to use it for this, but it just, like, because the player would be spending a long time in the area, like exploring new things, talking to the NPCs. It just didn't loop. Like, it just wasn't long enough, and I couldn't get to loop the way I wanted to for this area. And as you can see, this is really early on. The polywater, yeah, the polywater looks much different too. Now, I guess after the baking and everything, you can see how it originally looked, the light baking. Very simple. Shows like the overhead view too of what I started on. But yeah, I originally wanted to use that music. I just couldn't get it to work right. In my opinion, it just didn't work right for the amount of time that the player would be spending. That's why, Bassclef, ended up helping me with that. And, he was able, a lot of the music that he makes, like, it just looked really good for the amount of time the player would be spending in the area. So I chose to use his music for mine. I believe it worked out pretty good. Like, it fits. Let me change that back. Let's see. Get it up to, that's pretty good. I don't want it too loud so it doesn't drown out what I'm talking about. Okay, I think that's it for the leftover stuff. Let me just see if I have anything else here before I head into the pizzeria and talk about everything in there. Oh yeah, this is the, I wanted to show this way back, but this is like the really rough sketch I was doing for the head and the water, the Vinny head. This is like the whole Evangelion reference thing, but it was just like a quick sketch I was showing people of the idea I was trying to go for. Let's see. Okay, oh, I have one more. This is just, I don't remember how this happened. I think it was during the baking process, or maybe when the levels got moved together. I'm not exactly sure, but at one point the polywater, like the coloring was gone, but it was actually like glowing. It was kind of like this white and glowing look to it, which looked kind of cool, but I decided not to keep it. It would have been kind of cool looking though. All right, let's go into the pizzeria. And now, one thing I should mention before I go in here is that the pizzeria, so it's a separate area you go into. It's actually a lot larger than from what it looks like in the building. I originally, like when I was making the separate pizzeria, like the inside of it, I originally was going to copy this structure here and just like put it in another area and tried to build like rooms in it, but it was just too small. Especially like for the indoor areas, because of the size of the NPCs and the size of the players, it would be just, and with the kind of jump, since we increased the jumps and everything, it would have been too cramped. So I had to make it bigger from the inside. So let's go ahead and go in there. So if you walk in here, you may notice the music. So this was not done. This was not one of Bassclef's things. This is actually done by Bark, who also worked on the game. He did the Vine Toad Kingdom and helped us with quite a few other things, especially like 3D models and stuff. But he did the music for this. He basically he took like a part of, I can't remember what exact song it is. It's from Duke Nukem. But he combined Duke Nukem with like a very classic, I guess, like Italian song or something like that. I can't remember specifically, but it just came out to this, and it worked for this. It fits because this is a Duke Nukem. Well, it's not like fully Duke Nukem themed. It's semi Duke Nukem themed, but the original idea was the Duke Burger that existed in the Duke Nukem games, which I kind of used. I have a few references here, but you can see This actually is a lot larger compared to what I did, but I think this is like is it second or third game? No, I think it's the second game. But the Duke Burger, it has like the counter and a little like menu board and everything that you can go to in the game. That's part of the inspiration, and then there is I used some actual references of pizza places too, but you can see like the little counter. I like the little like bar look for a pizzeria, and you can see they have like the cooling rack, and they had the little like ingredient bar, and I'll show that to you when I actually explore this area. But this is what I use for references, and they have like little stools and everything. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't put like a TV in that could have been animated to show more Vinesauce stuff, but I was very limited on time. So this was the second area that I worked on after I finished Vapor Zone, and I think this did. I'm trying to think how much time this actually took me. This took me a lot of time to work on, probably quite a few weeks. Let's see here. I can show you a few things later. Okay, I need to turn that jump off. Let's go ahead and turn that off. But there's, we have a few NPCs in here. I'll try to cover as much as I can without forgetting stuff. Hopefully I don't forget anything. The first NPC that you run into is the, let's see, I forgot what we named him. Oh, just Mac. I believe what's that mean? I think both me and another person did the lines for this, but this is a little, is it Macamee? It's a Macamee reference of the alien, but we didn't want to make him look exactly like the alien from that movie. Okay, this is written by, I think Mono actually, I think the Monotonous wrote that line. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so Scootley actually did the art for this NPC, and then I just in case you aren't familiar with Macamee, it's very like well-known, like it's kind of like a E.T. ripoff in a way that had like a bunch of like name brand stuff put out, like McDonald's and everything like that. And I believe with Joel's community, it became kind of a meme. So I wanted to include that in there as kind of like a Joel reference, and I think Vinny's probably referenced it too. So, but this is the the alien. It's so grotesque looking in a way. And then there's like there's a scene in this movie where the alien is like dancing. I believe the alien's dancing on the table. There's a bunch of people in like a freaking McDonald's or something. There's like this whole musical thing that goes on. It's fucking like weird and hilarious and just awful too. And the kid. See, I got the shot with the kid. The kid with the little alien thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I wanted to reference. Let's see here. There's like little things I tried to like. I think I have when it comes to indoor areas, I have I'm a little more organized when trying to design indoor areas versus outdoor areas where I had a harder time trying to figure out where to place stuff because there's so much space. But an indoor area, you know, I've got like, walls I can decorate with little things, like little tables and stuff I can put on it. And, I got like extra experience doing that from playing Animal Crossing because I was like, way before I started working on this, like the main thing I was spending my time on was freaking Animal Crossing, and I was spending a lot of time trying to like do all the decorating and fitting and designing the terrain in that. And I suppose in some ways that kind of helped me with this doing the development for the areas in this game too. So I got like there's a lot of custom objects in here, like the stools. And I used the toxic like pizza. It's supposed to be pizza grease, but it might be something a little different than pizza grease. It's pretty toxic looking here. And there's normally like a GreatSphynx emote right here. We have a few emotes that we hit in this area. So I have the toxic pizza grease barrels, the stools that I designed. we have another vending machine that I made. This is just like a retexture of the Boppus machine. So I didn't like, just because for the sake of time, I didn't actually spend time doing like different sodas for this. I kind of wish I did, but if we ever do an update, maybe I can change them. I didn't feel the need to too much. So for this one, it's the Boppus, it's Conk, which is like a parody of I don't know what the parody of Coke is. I think Conk is an actual like meme parody name for Coke. I don't freaking know. But yeah, it's just like a parody of a Coke machine that's in pink or whatever that I thought I'd stick in here. And then all the little like I did like all the little objects too, because we didn't have any. Most of the prefabs that we have were meant for fantasy areas, so there weren't anything specifically for like a pizza restaurant or any like modern decorations I could have used. So I had to like go in milk shape, of course. I did all the like little objects. I used Unity's little modeling too for very simple stuff like meatballs and sausages and ingredients and things like that. And then like I have like the pizza boxes I did in milk shape, so I put the little like Papa Duke's logo that I made for the sign on the outside of the pizzeria on it, and in various places. Like I did the little like glowing signs. There's just so many. This area took me a while because it involved a lot of art, especially the menu board, which I can explain the references on the menu board in a little bit, but I'll show you some of the other things. Now, we have the two rat NPCs here. Now, just like the toad, the like vine toads for the Vaporwave area, I kind of told I keep getting her full name wrong. It's Dead Set Jetworks Izzy. I'm gonna call her Izzy. I might be getting her the full name that she goes by wrong, but Izzy did the art just like with the Vaporwave vine toads in the Vapor area. Izzy did the artwork for the rats. And so there's sort of like, the coloring is sort of themed after the Papa Duke's Pizzeria, but they also fit in like a Vaporwave area too, since this is connected to it. So we have like our worker rat here, there's another worker rat upstairs, and then we have like the sort of like boss here. We thought like rats, I mean, since this is a pizza place and it's Vinesauce theme, rats just seemed like the perfect type of employee to put in here. And they're very like disgruntled looking, especially this one. So Izzy, I believe Izzy wrote most of the lines for these two. Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't even think of adding for the lines for the rats, so... So those little lines are a reference to the rat, God, I forgot the name of it, but it's the exploration game that Vinny streamed not too long ago. Well, it was a while before this, of course, but it was a game that had like the rats in the sewer, and you explored, you talk to them, and some of them just had like little things that the Twitch chat would say, because there's Twitch integration, so we decided to make a reference to that. And then I believe I wrote some of the lines for the boss rat, but I believe Izzy also did some of the lines as well.
Hey! 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 Hey!
Now that's not necessarily a Vinny meme, that's just a thing that's been around from a video, the pizza pasta put it in the box meme. But he used to reference it a lot, so we decided to put that in there.
Hey!
Also, the some of the voices this is still Desert's, like one of the many voices that Desert did, but it's pitched down. So in order to give some variation to some of the voices we did, because a lot of times we would use the same voice clips, but we'd just pitch them up or pitch them down to kind of variate it between the different NPCs. And then the why you know work a daily? I'm probably messing that up, but the impression of that, but like that's also a reference to Vinny talking about the deli guy that he comes across that always asks him why he doesn't work the deli. And then this is our Jerma Rat reference that we thought we'd put in. Not Vinny, it's not a Vinny meme, but he has referenced it, so since that the audience between Vinesauce and Jerma tends to cross over. So here are more like other custom objects that I made and sort of piled on top of each other. The cooling rack, and then this little like the nuclear pizza oven was really fun to make as well. So it combines the custom. So what I did was just make the oven first. It was just really simple. I wonder if I have a picture of it here. Well, I have a picture that shows some of the objects without outside of the game here. So if you also, I just noticed, if you're actually standing right here, you might be able to hear some of the sounds from the arcade. And with the way the sound placement in this game is, it's actually like a sphere. And I guess you'd have to do some extra coding in order to get it like very precise to the area where you place the sounds. So some of the, because of the area that the sound spreads out to as a sphere, you can it kind of like overlaps into like the bottom area here, because we have of course an arcade above here, and there's like a lot of different sounds in that, so you might hear a little bit of it when you're standing in this area. Okay, so we have this is just showing some of the objects the way they looked before I put them in the game. Very simplistic looking. Lighting and effects and everything unique can do a whole lot to very simple objects, but this is the way the pizza oven looked. And then the little cooling rack and everything. What I did for when I put it in here is I added like a little glowing like nuke radiation symbol to it, and then some little effects, particle effects for the fire, and then like a little it's like a flat plane. I think I have a plane behind it for like just to kind of simulate like glowing in the back of the fire. That's supposed to like just pretend it's there, basically. A lot of these things are pretend. So and then for the like say the nuclear whatever it is, I just noticed too, I think Sphinx in the update, you could, I don't think you could see it from here. Let me switch here. Sphinx actually hid some friends in here, but if you look really close, there's actually a friend in here that I didn't even realize he hid in there until he did his like own stream going over development stuff, but he hid a little friend here. But that little like whatever it is, pool of toxic stuff that's moving up and down, that's also I'm trying to think if it's also a flat plane that's just glowing that I moved. I can't remember what I used for it to make it go up and down like that. It's probably some sort of animation or something. It's basically the same thing that I used for the ball pit that's upstairs. So it might be a flat plane that I used, or some other like shader or something. Actually, it might be the polywater. Can't quite tell. Or it was some kind of animated water that we had that we could use that actually goes up and down like that, and you could change the speed of it. So let's see, what else do we have here? And of course, like we have a little toxic barrel there for extra ingredients. Okay, and I think the biggest thing here is the menu board, but before I go that, there was something I forgot to show. It's a little funky in here. When I was covering the Vapor Zone, and it's the computers, and when I was going over references, I actually did have something I used as a reference for making the computers, and I think it's like an old, let me show you here, I have a picture of it. I think this is like an old Mac, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I didn't show that last time I was going over stuff in Vaporzone, but this is like what I use as a reference. It's not exactly like that, but pretty close for making that. And then I didn't, because of time, I didn't get around to putting like something here. I kind of wish I put like an extra screen or something on there for like a pizza order or something like that, but I just didn't get to it at the time. So there's so many like little things I could have added. And then for like the glass on the counter here, this is just like a plain, this is just like a long like rectangular object that I created in Unity, and then you can do different things with the coloring on it to make it like semi-transparent to sort of give it a glass look, and then you can add some shine to it. So let's see, and then we have like a glowing sign. A lot of these signs, like I mentioned when I was going in the vapor zone, are just like basically it's just like a regular 2D image that has like you have like two different images, one with like black backing and one that just has like regular coloring. And then there's some stuff you can do in Unity in order to make it to kind of like make it like to sort of cut out the background and then make the actual art glow, and that's what I did for this and some of the other signs. There's a ton of signs upstairs in the arcade, so I basically use that same technique for all of them. And then you can add, I forgot to add it for this, but there's like extra lighting. You can sort of see it with the lights here. Let me jump on here. I forgot what it was, but there's these like little individual lights that you can add to objects to sort of give them a glow. It's like post-processing. It's in like the post-processing settings, but you can set it up to where little things that you assign a light to will actually glow, and you can set the intensity of it. So I actually forgot to add that to this sign, I believe. But the rest of them do have a light added to them, so. Now for the main thing here. The menu board, which I spent a lot of time on, but a lot of these are just like full of references, and some of them are just shit that I made up that seemed like it would fit. So let's go over them and I can kind of explain them a little bit. So let's see, we got if you can look closely, you should be able to like read over them. So we got the double nuked, double baked to sea of molten cheese. It's practically soup. Yeah, it's just like a radiation type thing. It's so, you know, because it's like a nuclear pizzeria, the stuff is so hot it basically just fucking melts. Pizza cake, the Duke never referenced, so it just says yeah, you know, yeah, pizza cake, pizza cake or whatever. BFP, reservations only, year in advance. So big fucking pizza. This is actually not a Duke Nukem reference. This is a Doom reference because the BFG, big fucking gun. It's a reference to that. I'm pretty sure that was in Doom. I hope I'm not getting them confused because they're very similar. Proby Chovy, do-it-yourself anchovy stuffed crust and sauce that's out of its world. That was some weird one that I made up. It's sort of a reference to aliens, and you like, I don't know, there was this thing with like injecting anchovies in the crust. It sounds really fucking disgusting, and it's sort of what I intended, but anyways, fungus among us, topped with mushrooms, thrice their size due to unnatural causes. So both a reference to, I'm pretty sure it's the Super Mario movie, where I think they say a line where it's like fungus among us or something like that. There's the whole thing with the fungus. It's a reference to that. And then radioactive mushrooms. I actually have a picture of, so if you look on the side, there's a picture of some of the items here. So on the top side, you've got the piece of cake, which I actually used two different actual like pictures. I wish I had them that I used for references, but there's, you know, pizza cake is actually a thing. You know, it might seem a bit much for someone who just likes a simple pizza, but it's basically, it's kind of like a lasagna pie in a way. But yeah, it's basically like a layered pizza, and then I combine it with like a cake, I guess, with like frosting. I don't know what kind of frosting would be on top of that. Maybe it's actually just like some sort of creamed cheese or something, and then you have a tomato on top. It seemed fitting. And then you have the fungus among us pizza, which has the radioactive glowy like green mushrooms on it. And then like for the number 6, that the pineapple pizza, that's actually based on a meme image of actually I think that it was like a piece of like a slice of pineapple or something with a bunch of like pepperonis on it. I've seen it around. I wish I had the picture of it, but it's based on that. But instead, this is like just a slice, just a straight up slice of pineapple with the fucking like pepperonis and the cheese on it. I wouldn't eat it. It seems gross. I do actually like pineapple on pizza, but I would not eat this. Pineapple pizza, a pizza baked pineapple with a dab of pepperoni, good for throwing. Yeet is a meme, of course, so it just seems like instead of eating it, you would actually just chuck it at somebody as like a weapon or something. We've got more pizza stuff down here. The Sauce Boss, it's a Vinesauce reference to the one picture with Vinny, who's got the little like crown or whatever at a restaurant that says Sauce Boss. Margarita pizza loaded with sauce comes pre-folded to keep the sauce from escaping. That's a reference to like, it's something that people do. Folding the pizza up and everything to actually eat it. Kind of like a taco, but if you got something that's loaded with sauce, if you fold it up, it would probably keep the sauce from escaping. So it's a reference to that. We have the ketovore, and that's depicted also. Is it actually? Yeah, the extreme meat pizza, basically, where the crust is made out of meat. Everything on it is made out of meat. You got like the meat worm on it as well. Ketovore, no carbs, just meat. The crust is meat. The sauce is meat. Your hands are meat. So yeah, just full on meat pizza. Pasta pizza, cheesy penny and a meatball topping served in a box. Reference to, pizza pasta, put it in a box. The Hatsune holographic pizza projected directly onto your taste buds. Reference to Hatsune Miku, which has the, there was that whole thing with Vinny's stream of the Noid, and then I think it was like, there was like Hatsune Miku and her dad, like Mike Hatsune or some shit like that. It was such a long time ago. And then there was that whole like pizza, I think it was the Pizza Hut commercial that had Hatsune Miku. So that all ties together into the pizza stuff and Vinesauce. So it felt appropriate. And then number 11 is 866 fruit. We've got pizza rolls baked in a fruit juice glaze. Classic Vinesauce video, cooking with Vinesauce. That's a reference to that. And then the whole like 866 fruit meme that Vinny used to reference a while back. Whew, this is a lot. Feels like I'm talking forever. I really put way too much on this menu, I'll have to say. We've got the Big Dookie Burger. It's another Duke reference. Classic preserved from the freezers of an old fast food chain, not responsible for digestive upset. So basically, with this, I was referencing the old Duke burger from the games, and that the burgers you're eating are actually like frozen patties that were preserved from the freezers of those old Duke burgers in the game. So yeah. Little Dookie meal comes with the fully posable Papa Duke action figure. I think the Duke burger, I think actually even in the Duke Nukem Forever, the new Duke Nukem game, they made a reference to like the Duke dolls that you could get at the Duke burger. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was in there. Beef Clown Burger, that's a reference to Meat Clown. Does meat taste funny to you? That's like an old clown joke. A lettuce wrap, healthy and full of minerals. Just lead, reference to guns and shit like that in Duke Nukem. Pork chop sandwich, freshly squeezed from eating hogs. That can be both a Duke Nukem reference and a reference to pork chop sandwiches from the G.I. Joe PSA, so it's layered a little bit with the memes. Steamed yams, reference to steamed hams. Everyone knows the steamed hams meme, so I shouldn't need to explain it. Cooked under the Aurora Borealis. And then we have a few drinks here. We've got Mountain Dew, Boppus, Conch, Root Juice. Root Juice, I'm pretty sure, was it Vinny? I think Vinny called root beer root juice at one point, or maybe it was another streamer, I'm not sure. Spicy water, reference to like alcohol. Hot dog water, also Vinny reference. It's a little bit older. Vinny referenced the Beavers movie thing from that one like cult documentary, Juice in a Box. That's actually a Joel meme, and apparently it's something I kind of had to look up, but he was sent like this huge thing of like, I don't know what brand it was. It was like it was just like a whole case of like these juice box things. It might have been like High C or something, or maybe it was like an off-brand, but I just know that he like fucking hated it or something. Spider Milk, reference to V-Dub shenanigans. Ectoplasm, it's both the Dan Aykroyd Ghostbusters shit and probably something else that I'm forgetting. And then T. Earl Grey is a Star Trek reference to Captain Picard. So this menu board is chock full of references. So, and then we got the little like we got another pizza cake advertisement here. Papa Duke, and then we have just a few things here. Both of these images I actually took from VineRealms, so I cheated a little bit. So we have the newspaper of God, what's it? A reference to, I forgot the frickin' show, but it's Carl Pilkington. Shouldn't have to explain those memes. But this was actually taken from the one Carl Pilkington room from VineRealms. I had like a little magazine thing in there, and then I just like took that image and put it on like a little object or something and just sort of stacked it to make it look like a newspaper stack. And then we have the Labor Day. So I put like a Labor Day advertisement in here for grilled watermelon, which isn't actually on the menu. It's a special item that they only sell on Labor Day. So I figured I would just do it like that. Let's see, everything, I think I covered everything in here. Oh my god, I've never talked this long. That's why I don't do things like these videos that often, but there's so much to talk about. Actually, before I go up the stairs, I wanted to explain something with how I did the, I probably didn't, so these windows here, they're all flat images. In order to keep things simple, instead of having this thing fully modeled, because, well, I said I had to actually make the inside of this bigger, so it made sense to make this a completely separate area. So when you actually go into here from Vapor Zone, it's actually a separate scene. So instead of having this in the Vapor Zone, it's a separate scene. And so I was like, okay, how can I do the windows? Because the building itself in the Vapor Zone's got windows and doors on it, and I was like, I can't just make them black. It would just, kind of ruin the atmosphere of it a little bit. So what I did is, I have this image here that I can show you. So what I did was take little screenshots of, so I went inside the building that I created in the Vapor Zone, like that building, and then I took little screenshots of the windows. Like I went into the building and I would look out the windows of that building in the Vapor Zone area, and then I took little screenshots, let's see here, if I can blow that up a little bit, of the Vapor Zone area while looking out the windows. And then I took those individual images and put them on flat planes and put them in like behind the windows, and then put like a little barrier to keep people from like falling out of the windows, since it's actually, it doesn't actually go out the Vapor Zone. It's just like a fake 2D thing I put there to sort of give it an effect of it still being in the Vapor Zone. I'm sure there's some trick or something I could have used to give it a bit more depth instead of making it look like a flat image just like this, but time and everything kept me from do that. But yeah, if you look at them real close, they're kind of crusty looking and the quality's not so great. Anyways, I think that should be it for that. Let's go up to, now this area, people really loved, and I put a lot of love into it, I will say that, and it took a lot of time trying to get, the sound and the animations right, figuring out how to do, because, so this is the arcade, and, Unity does not have I think it's kind of expensive. There's like a thing you can get to import, I guess, videos or something into Unity, so that you could put like animated screens or something in it, but I believe it's expensive, and we were kind of on a budget. So I had to learn how to do animated 2D images because they don't just have a simple thing to input GIFs in. It's kind of complicated. But I can show you in a minute after kind of going over some of the other stuff in here. So we have our arcade. We've got I have a lot of like parody signs in here of different game companies and stuff, so I can kind of go over those. I also did the ambience in the area too. So a lot of these I spent a lot of time on. So many custom objects that I had to make for this. So all the signs, I did all the like arcade machines and the like animated screens. Took a while to do. The extra, this is just a reskinned, because it was a very simple object, reskinned vending machine of the Boppus machine. But I did the texture for it, so it's a reference to Beef Clown, but it says like, a reference to Meat Clown, but it says like Beefu Clown in katakana, and so it's just got a bunch of like meat products in there and clown noses and everything. Let's go. I'm trying to figure out, there's so much stuff to go over here, so one at a time here. Let's go over the signs first, and then I'll explain everything else. So this is a reference to Taito, and actually no, not Taito. It's Atari. But it's the Atari symbol flipped upside down. I was like, well, Atari ends up showing up in the Blade Runner movies. And I was like, how can I make a reference to that? So I flipped the symbol upside down, and it kind of looked like, you know, something being poured into like a little glass or something. So I put like a little rim around it. And then I put like a little, like a bottle, the tip of a bottle or something on the very top, and so it kind of looks like, you know, you're taking a shot or you're pouring a shot for yourself. So that's the Blade Runner, the Blade Runner reference. The Dorito thing is the Taito reference. I'm pretty sure V-Dub talks about Mountain Dew Ritos, which I think is an actual thing that exists, but sounds fucking gross. So I just changed that into like so it somewhat looks like the Taito logo, but it also looks like a Dorito chip or something. That was the idea I had there. Let's see if I can see some of the other ones here. We got Papkern, which is a reference to, it's both Capcom, and I guess the freaking, Vinny some story about Vinny telling, people who aren't from New York how people from New York, pronounce like popcorn or something. It came from that. We've got MIDI Wave, which is a reference to both Midway, RIP Midway, you were well loved, and then like the MIDI stuff from Joel's stream. Blumpco, which is a reference to a fake company that Vinny came up with a long time ago, and Namco, which is a favorite company of mine. Actually, both Capcom and Namco are favorites. And then we have Bing Bing Wahoo, which is just, most people should know that references Nintendo. We've got Sausage, which is a reference to both some Gordon Ramsay meme in Sega, using the Sega font. We have Kojambo, which is a reference to Konami and Genius Kojambo, which is some meme that came about because of Death Stranding. And then we have Scumsoft, which I put the Scumsoft logo. I don't know who created the Scumsoft logo, but I was given a lot of assets that people worked on for previous charity streams, because there were a lot of like, basically this company that they came up with that would create these like mysterious video games, that like retro video games based off of like old PC games and stuff. Like we have Funky Scrungus and the Chunky Fungus, which is based off of the Commander Keen games. And I'm not sure, I think these are all like assets that already existed, but I think Scrungus was actually the only thing that was changed. I'm not entirely sure. So I made a cabinet out of this. And, well, I guess I might as well just go over the arcade cabinets since I'm going through this. I already covered all the parody logos. So the Scumsoft machines, I wanted to make a reference to them from the previous charity streams. And since this is also a fan game, it felt appropriate. So I put like, let's see, 1, 2, 3 Scumsoft machines in here. And most of them, because they're like based on old PC games, the actual like controls for it were based on I think it was actually a Missile Command type of arcade game. So I'll have to show you all the references I used for did I not put them all in here? Oh no, because they're in the arcade folder here. So I have an XSplit I have a folder I have for XSplit where I put all my images in so I can just drag them over. So let me see if I can show you. Oh yeah, I think this was some sort of Missile Command game, but it seemed like it would be appropriate for like a PC arcade game. So that's why I based the controls off. Very simplistic compared to this. Let's see here. So that's why I copied this for a few of the games, and then I made like custom ones for some of the arcade machines. So we have the Funky Skungus and Chunky Fungus. I can show you sort of the sides of it here. And the art. This was the first arcade machine I worked on. And then the actual references for modeling out the arcade machine is I used I used a combination of the Neo Geo machines because I kind of like they're very simple looking. I like the more like square look to them. I just sort of flattened out the back a bit. And then I actually used actual like I guess a blueprint or whatever for building your own like arcade machine at home. So I used this as a reference to build it. So I actually did like when modeling out the arcade machine, I just like created like flat planes based on the shape of this, and then like basically welded them together. So I used like an actual blueprint for this as well. Which I'd actually like to use to make my own arcade machine, like an actual one in real life. That would be fun to do. Let's see, what else can I show here? Okay, I don't have a whole lot that I saved in terms of pictures for the arcade, so let's move on. We have here in the middle, this is a reference to corruptions. So we have a corrupted arcade machine, and it has like the RTC, I guess Corruption Ghost. I can't remember if he has an actual name, but there's like a bunch of different designs for him. But this is the one from Vinemon, and I believe Shy Guy XXL did the sprite for this, and I just took it as a I put it on a flat plane, did the method to cut it out, and then animated it slowly floating up and down. And this machine is special, of course, because if you go on the teleport point, it takes you to the a part of the Cursed Caves where some of the areas are corrupted looking. It was kind of our way of doing like a corruption area, like sort of our way to compromise not having an actual corruption zone. So we just like kind of put corruptions in various areas of VineRealms to make up for that in a way. Now the actual like corruption effect on the arcade machine was done, I can show you some of the images, but it used sort of the same method that I used for animating the screens, and it's kind of a method. Now, normally when you're animating stuff in Unity, it'll sort of it's kind of hard to explain. I might have to do that on my dev timeline video, but normally when you're animating stuff, it doesn't like it just like. See if you're moving a screen. See if you had a thing. Here, I'll have to show you. It's very. I'm sorry if it sounds convoluted. I'm trying to not make it be. Let me explain how this works. So I had this screen here. I guess I might as well explain how I did the animated screens while I'm talking about this. So I basically had to make like a tile set in a way. I made animated GIFs out of video footage that I recorded, and then I took those and put them in I think I used Piskel. There's like some online tools that'll do it too, but it basically splits it up into static frames. So I placed those on like a little image, like a tile sheet in a way. And then I used those, I put the image in Unity in the animation thing, and I would basically use like, I would basically use movement to move the screens around to give them the effect of being animated. Now, normally when you're animating stuff in Unity, it'll just sort of like scroll through. You'll actually see the thing moving. If you're trying to move screens across, it'll actually show the areas in between the screens when you're doing it normally. So there's actually a method you have to use in order for it to look like there's no transition between the screens. It's just there's a method used to have to where the screen will directly go to the next screen without that little transition in it. Someday, when I'm doing the dev time on, I will actually go into Unity and show you exactly, because it sounds complicated, but it's not. It just takes a lot of time, and it can be kind of tedious, especially if you have an animated image that has like a fuck ton of frames, which a lot of these did. So, but that's the method I use for giving that corruption effect to the this arcade machine as well. Which the corruption itself, you'll actually see this. It's the same effect that's used in the Caves of the Curse too. But if you look closely, the image that I use for the corruption is just like this corrupted. It's like this layout that I had, different layouts that I had for doing the textures for the arcade machine. So I had different ones saved, and I basically just took those and threw them in like an online tool that sort of corrupts images based on like little modifiers that you put in. So I have like different images that I use for that. So let me show you some more here. Yeah, so that's all it is, and then I created this large image of frames that had the different images, the different corruption images, and then just moved it in order to create this like corrupted effect on the arcade machine. It was a lot of work. It was actually the one thing, the animated screens are the one thing that took me the longest time in the arcade to work on. Everything else was pretty simple in terms of like texturing models and stuff. So let's go over some more of these arcade machines here. So now that you know the method, that's basically what I use for these. I think actually, let's see, so the strongest screen is actually the first one I used that animation method on, and it's very easy because strongest didn't actually have an actual game. It was just sort of like a mock-up of a game on the Scumsoft website. So there was no actual gameplay footage. It was just the screens, the mock-up screens for the game itself. So this is very easy to animate. Now, second thing I worked on was the bullet sponge arcade machine, which Bark did a lot of the art assets and work for this game. And so he ended up giving me a lot of the assets so that I could make the textures for the arcade machine. And I recorded footage of Vinny's stream playing Bullet Sponge, and basically split up the frames, and then I used the method to animate it. But it was I had to with something that had actual gameplay footage, I had to really shorten the amount of time that it played, because the frames would have been like a lot of frames to try and work with, and it would have just taken too long. But that's the second one. Okay, let's move on to the next thing here. We've got, before I cover the other arcade machines, let's talk to Mr. Jabrodi, Pepperoni Jabrodi right here, which is also done by Izzy. Scumsoft. So this is actually some lore that Izzy came up with. I believe Izzy was the one that wrote that line. Tying the ball pit to the cursed caves, which is great because the teleport on the corrupt arcade machine takes you there. But it's related to VDub. I guess dumping Mountain Dew or maybe even Monster Energy drink into the ball pit. And of course, if you go in the cursed caves, you'll find VDub in a centipede covered room. Let's see here. So our next arcade is also a Scumsoft game, has the same type of control setup on the top of it. This is I don't know, like with the Commander Keen based game, the Scrungus and the Chunky Fungus, I don't know if these are also based on existing assets, they might. It's called Scumgen. It looks like some sort of very, maybe a gauntlet-ish dungeon crawler of some sort, like top-down dungeon crawler. I think that's based on, so I created an arcade machine using some of the assets that they gave me for that. And this one also, like some of the other Scumsoft games, it didn't have any actual gameplay. It was just like a mock-up of a game that Scumsoft made. And here we have, as we go into the Joel stuff, we have Vargfriend Mash, which is a, I was trying to find, since I don't, I'm not as up to date on like some of the Joel stuff as other people might be, so I wasn't quite sure how many different fan games people had made for him over the years and which, like, what the mods are and what the fan games are. This, I guess, was one that, maybe came out this year that Joel played, and it was based on a, some sort of, like, easy, very simple, like, game concept where you mash buttons, and I guess gain points or something. That's what this is based on. And it's, an actual game that someone made, based on the idea that's on itch.io. The creator is Lapoli. So I made the, arcade machine for that with all the different, like, so you have, like, different friends, different colored friends that you can choose to play as in the game. And here we have, it seems to be a favorite series of this year, Meme House, which, so this is based on The Sims, I think it's Sims 3 or 4, I can't remember, a series that Joel has been doing throughout this year that's pretty popular. And it sort of has like an episodic nature to it. People do a lot of discussion related to it. But it's called Meme House. It has a lot of models imported in it that I believe was done by Carillion, or at least Carillion was the one that helped Joel get like the different mods and stuff for Sims to have the different models. Like, I don't know if someone custom made a bulk Bogan model, or if that's something that already existed that they just imported into Sims. And other favorites would be like Garfield, Dio from the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I feel like I'm talking over some of these. I'm sorry. Some of these sounds are like really loud, and I tried my best to like lower them, and they get louder. Thing is like there's an overlap thing that I mentioned before with the way the sounds are placed, and they get kind of like softer or louder depending on how close you are to the machines. I tried my best with that, but they kind of overlap and get a little too loud. So I feel like I'm shouting over some of them. But anyways, we've got Garfield, we've got Bulk Bogan, we've got Dio here. I've got some screenshots. Like, I had this little idea of like, I didn't want to show, so with this machine specifically, I didn't want to show too much of the Sims itself, just, you know, for legal reasons, I guess. So what I did, the whole like theme with this is like photos, I guess, little, screens from the actual, playthrough, like Joel's playthrough of, Meme House. So I took a few, shots that didn't show too much of the Sims world itself. It was just the characters that people had imported into the game for him. So we have like Bulk Bogan on the front here, in front of a bunch of photos from the game. So that was the idea behind that. And then like I had like the Meme House with silhouettes of the characters. Seemed like a good idea. And just some like weird shit here. Dio was here painted in blood, and then that weird like blurry picture that Dio took in the series. And then we have, well, since we're talking about Vinesauce mods and fan games and stuff, you know, I couldn't help but I had to put this in here. This is the one that I worked on. It's the RE2 mod. I avoided putting Resident Evil on it, you know, just to be copyright friendly or something. I doubt Capcom really cares as much as like Nintendo would. So I made an arcade machine based on the Resident Evil 2 mod, and just put like the little like Luigi lickers. The animated scene from it is from like when the what the fuck is that thing? Ultimate? It's from Mother 3. I completely forgot the name of it. But it's the thing that shows up in Mother 3, and it's like undefeatable. And I just put like a, I think the basis, I unfortunately don't have a reference picture for it, but I use the, I'll get away from here so I can actually talk without the sounds drowning my voice out. But I use the, so they do have, Resident Evil has some gun con games, and they did actually, in Japan, they actually did make arcade machines for both, the first Gun Survivor game, and then Gun Survivor 2, which is based on Code Veronica. So I kind of based the art design on that in a way. And then I have like the art design has like characters, like the main characters at the front, and then sort of like a blue, a bunch of like bioweapons and stuff in the back in like a blue or green tint. That's sort of the idea I was trying to go for. And I actually do have, for these, I actually took the modeling, the program that you can actually import and export Resident Evil 2 models in. I used that and imported the custom models that I made for the RE2 mod and posed them specifically for this arcade machine. And I do have, let's see this picture here.
Oh god!
This is what, this sort of image I used for the front, or the side art on that cabinet of both Vinny and Two-Face. I apologize that the sound is chaotic. I actually did, so all the sounds in here are a combination of, I did want to create that sort of like chaotic ambience of an arcade. But it's a combination, the sounds in here are a combination of sound clips taken from different streams, and then some custom sounds that I did in the music programs that I use. And then I think I only have, I don't know if I have any like free, royalty-free sounds that I used. I think this is all like just a mix of stream noises and then the music, whatever music program that I use to make this sounds. The sort of, the more retro sounds that you hear, the more like beep boops and stuff, that's what I did. And like, on my own, and then the rest are just stream noises mixed in. So it's supposed to be chaotic. All right, let's go over to these other game machines here. So we have now this is supposed to be an arcade machine based on Mario's Mystery Meat, and I can actually show. I believe I have an image of what it originally looked like. I did actually show this. I was sharing it with the development team at the time, and it was sort of suggested that maybe I should blur the sprites and take out the Mario name of it just for legal reasons, because I mean there's a lot of custom assets that were created for it. It's an amazing mod, Mario's Mystery Meat, but the sponge sprite is basically, it's kind of like a recolor of the Mario sprite in a way with some modifications. And then like you actually had, I don't think the Yoshi, because this is sponge writing on Yoshi on the bottom here, and I think the Yoshi itself wasn't changed from the original game. And then here, let me, that's actually, I would have to say out of all the arcade machines when it comes to the art and layout, this is actually the Mario's Mystery Meat one was my favorite. Let's see here if I can find the original version of it. It might not. Be unfortunate if I didn't. I probably didn't put it in here. I can show that and then, oh no, I do. I have the actual texture art, which this will show you. Now I'm not the most professional person when it comes to doing textures. I have my own way of doing it. It's a little haphazard, but let me show you the texture. I think this should be the original one. Is this actually all okay, this is when I oh, okay, this is the original. This is how I basically censored the original art, but you can sort of see the does it show Mario on it? No, it doesn't. This is actually how I censored the sprites, though. I basically took the whole texture art and put it, like, pixelated it in a Piskel, and then took out the sprites, the censored sprites, and then put them in the original texture art, and then just remove, like, Mario from the title here. I thought I had the original in here. I guess not. It's a shame that I don't, but I'll have to show that later. Just looking through here real quick to see if I actually still had it. Yeah, it seems like I don't. Oh, no, I do. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is what the original looked like, and you'd see the Mario's on the top, and then you can see on the side what the sponge looked like. It was falling down in the that worm, that whole worm the thing. Well, not worm. It's meat basically. There was a lot of like appearances of meat in the game. That one thing where he's like falling down and all the meats are sort of like sticking out on the side as a sponge is falling down. That was a pretty cool part of the game. And then you have like the whole like Vaporwave area with the vape rising, and then you have Chet at the bottom. There was so many neat things from that game that I wanted to put into this arcade cabinet. Like I said, it's like the most favorite arcade cabinet that I worked on. So let's take a look at, and then here we have a Vinesauce fan game that is still being worked on. I think it's getting closer to completion, but this is actually played during the last year's charity stream, I believe. I believe Vinny did like 2 different parts of it. One during the charity stream and one like on a Sunday or something. But this is, so the actual team, oh yeah, I forgot to mention I put some of the dev names here. Like for Mario's Mystery Meat, Eminus actually worked on it. This with the RE2 mod, this is Jackal in Katakana. Did they put on here? Okay, yeah. So I forgot to point that out. But for Vinemon, it's Swon Valco, and it should be. I can't remember I'm trying to figure out everyone who's a part of the team. I know it's a Lizarin, the Synergist, a Shy Guy XXL, and there should be. Is it Dry Boney? I think it's Dry Boney. Should be the 4th one. I believe it's 4 people from the Vinesauce community working on Vinemon, but it's basically a Vinesauce themed kind of Pokemon-like game. And there are a lot of like, I guess Fakeamon, if you want to call it, that are based on Vinesauce memes. They actually had a lot of original Pokemon like monsters that were submitted as well that have really good pixel art. You can see a lot of them featured on the side here. We've got like the alien, like I forgot if it's like a little like vine shroom ghost type thing. A lot of original looking monsters, and some of them based on Vinesauce memes. It's pretty cool. I think they're getting closer to completion. Maybe by next year or sometime this year. I'm not quite sure. I know they're kind of like on the final phase of stuff, but I thought it'd be really great to put like a homage to that in here as an arcade machine. And then we have a, you know, this was. So Vinny played this this year. This is like another fan game. God, I forgot the actual person who made it. I put dev in chat because in the game it says the dev is dev in chat, but it's not. It's a different person. I completely like spaced their name, but it was called Super Benyat Land. It was surprisingly good, like intentionally, like with intentional shitty art in it, but it was actually surprisingly good, and I got a little laughs out of it. So I wanted to make an arcade machine based on that, and we have like different stuff that I took from the game and kind of fixed up in a way. That we have like, I swear, like Vine Rising makes an appearance in so many different fan games, and then we have bees, we have the secret gnome, so that's that. Oh, I see. I'm forgetting things as I'm going through. I probably forgot to mention this too. So the different controls here, I probably should have pointed it out. Not to keep jumping around because I do that, but before I get back to that, with the controls, so the controls on this I based on a it's a little sloppy because the buttons are so like crowded together, but it's based on a wrestling arcade machine control setup. So you had 4 players, and that fits for the Bark Friend Mash because it's I think you can play more than 2. I think you can play up to like 4 players on it. This uses that PC layout that I had for the Scumsoft games. This one I based on a like shooter, like first-person shooter controls, but I sort of kind of modify it to fit for like I guess Resident Evil in a way too. I think I used that for one other game. I'm not sure. That might be the only game I used that on. Not entirely sure. But it has like a shoot. It has like a control stick and buttons for shooting and stuff like that. This one was based on the SNES controller. And then if we go here, this is actually based on, it's sort of based on the Game Boy Advance controls. So that's custom made for this. I don't think I used it for anything else. And then I also used the SNES controllers for the, SNES controls for this, but I made the intentionally messed up the spelling on this to kind of fit the theme of Super Vignette Land. And then we have the 4-player button controls for Vine WrestleMania, which is also another like Vinesauce. It's another game. I forgot the exact wrestling game it's using, but it had a bunch of like I don't know who actually made the characters. I don't know if Joel actually made the Vinesauce characters and put them in, or if that's like something that can be imported. I'm not sure if it's like a wrestling game that's on PC. I don't have a lot of information on it. But a lot of the characters that I put on this, and even like the footage itself, is based off of the WrestleMania segment that happened in last year's charity stream. And then some of the art and assets are from the they did like a feature. They featured WrestleMania in one of the charity magazines, I think even before last year. It was probably like older than that. So I used some of the assets from that. And then of course you have a lot of our streamers here. You've got like Joel, Rev, Vinny, and then of course Hootie on the side featured here. And then we've got a few of the meme characters. We got like Glue, I think Glue Man or something. I don't know that meme. I think this is a Joel meme, or not a Joel meme. That's a Germa meme that I'm unfamiliar with. You've got Germa. You have Rev on the side, and you've got Meat, you got Panther, Joel, and Hootie and Vinny on this side. So, and that's it. That's basically it for all the arcade machines. They took a lot of work and a lot of time, but I enjoyed every second of it. Now for the center here, before I head off to the alien ship, which is kind of like the final area that I worked on. We have the ball pit here, an obvious reference to vomit in the ball pit. I just put toxic waste. It's supposed to be like with the lore that the Jabroni Rat mentioned. It originally was like gonna be some sort of toxic pizza grease or something, but now I guess it's like Mountain Dew. It's light green. It could be anything really. We've got like a pizza slice floating in there, and I decided to just kind of be messy with it. We got a few of the balls that got knocked out here. I basically used the same like effect that I use for other floating liquids in the pizzeria. Like downstairs I've got toxic waste that kind of moves up and down and has some animation to it. I use the same technique here. I modeled a clown hand in milk shape and threw it in here because it's a reference to vomit in the ball pit. And there's a lot of the clown foolery on the Blood Bagel album. Let's talk to our Vapor Toad friend here. Okay, so he's basically he's also making a vomit in the ball pit reference here. I think Neri was trying to help me with this, but it probably would have taken too much time considering that there are all these little individual balls that I put in here, but giving physics to the balls so that they actually kind of drifted a bit while in the liquid to make it a little more realistic looking, but that would have just taken too much extra time. Okay, I think that's all I could talk here. I talked about the sound too, so I think that's it. I think I covered everything, so I'm gonna go ahead and head to the alien ship. I'm trying to think of the best way here. I will break and come back with the alien ship because it's gonna take me a little bit to get there. Okay, so we are back in the Psychedelic Swamp, which was an area created by Sphinx. And there are two mysterious areas when you come across Vigibum that are in the back of the swamp here. Now, we already went to the Vapor Zone, which is one of the areas hidden behind here, where the dolphin is. And there's another area that I worked on that you can reach from the swamp as well. So when you actually go and talk to Vigibum, so he hints at both the Vaporwave dolphin and also something else that's mysterious with lights along the way. I also wanted to mention that the, I forgot to mention it when I was talking to the Gearomatic NPC, but Cheesy Draws did all of the streamer art, all the art for these streamer NPCs. And we also, like I mentioned before, we had these streamers do like their own lines for their own voices in here, for their own like NPCs. And Vigibum did like a bunch of strange noises for his. Pretty amazing. You just need to hear it one more time. Okay. So he normally will give you an emote too. Most of these streamers will. So we're gonna go behind here. And see if I can get to it. I think you actually have, I can't remember if you have, you can't normally get to it. Okay, so you actually have to go through. I'm not gonna cheat and jump over the rocks because I want to actually show the path to it. Because if you have the jump on, it's pretty easy. Okay, it's actually over here. So if you go around the mushroom area here, there's a little path. It's right by the ocean, or the water. And there's like this small, like secluded area. It actually, if you're exploring the swamp from the other side, there's like a little broken, there's like a bunch of like a fence or some wood or something that's boarded up together that you can't go through, and it's sort of like, I think the slime there, the slime NPC sort of hints that there's something going on up here, along with like what Vigibum had said. So there's a little thing that's set up here that both Mono and Sphinx put together, and I'll actually show it in a minute. So we have this little shoe here. It's a little shoe model that I created in milk shape, and it's a reference to, as you can see, you can actually hear, some music as you're getting close to the shoe. That was also, I think that's also some music. I think the UFO music was something I did as well. But the shoe is a signal simulator reference, and as you get close to it, and I think this did spook me when I first came across it, because I'm not the one who actually worked on it. Sphinx actually spent a lot of time doing the animation for this, and I'm pretty astounded by it. So you have some light here, and when you look up, there's an abduction by a spaceship, and then you end up in the alien ship. Now, you might be able to, let me go back here before I cover the alien ship. Oh, does it actually show up? Yeah, you can see it from out here. Oh yeah, you can, okay, that's cool. So you can actually see it when you go back here. And then I think it actually takes off. Let's see here. No, it's just gonna stand there. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that or not. I think it's normally supposed to go away. So, Sphinx did the abduction event and animation, and then, is it gonna take off? I'm just waiting for it to take off. No, it's just gonna stand there. Okay, and then the Monotonous actually created the UFO model with the rotating lights. So both of them together created this really cool like abduction sequence. And then I actually used, when I get into the ship, I'll show you some things that I used that Mono had actually made. here. So we have our alien ship here that you get transported to. And then I had, so there's a lot of like little animations and stuff to look at in here. So I'll go through it one by one. But you could probably tell that the obvious reference for the ship or the bridge area is, let me pull it out here. I might actually have the picture that I used, but did I actually have the bridge here? I don't think. Okay, so it's the TNG, it's the Enterprise D bridge. I thought I had a reference picture for it, but I can show you the reference pictures for the teleporter, which is the thing I actually worked on the earliest when doing this ship. And it's funny too because the ship actually took me. The ship was the last thing I'd worked on. And it took me about a week to put together, but by that point I was already pretty familiar with stuff in Unity to kind of throw things together really quickly. I think the only thing that took me the most time was doing any like animations that involved like moving art or screens or anything like that. So we have our like teleporter here that I based that off of. I can also show some of the early screenshots of what the bridge looked like, or the ship looked like when I was first working on it. So this is like really early on. Actually, by this point, I didn't use any prefabs. I didn't model anything in Milkshape. I was starting to use Unity's own like pro builder tools or something like that it's called, to create the ship. And like I first created the teleporter with like two big like these glowing light things that change color on the side. And let me pull out some more here. Have any other early ones? Yeah, this is when I was starting to work on the bridge as well. So I did the teleport, and then all the chairs and stuff were modeled in Milkshape, and any of like the consoles or the panels that you see around this were also made in Milkshape too. And then I just did little modifications in Unity to make them look the way they did, and adding like little glowing screens on them and stuff to give them more of an effective, like, you know, being a ship panel or something. Let's see, what else do I have? Is this like the front? Oh yeah, this is the front. Before I added more stuff, I started, I can actually show it when I walk around, but this is like before I added any of like the panels or the screens or anything like that. So I created like the teleporter, then I put in the chairs, and then I put like this little window here. I think I extended it in the final version of this, and then I started to put, I have like a little space skybox, and started to put like some planets that I created with just some random textures that I had around, and then with Unity's own like model tools and everything like that. Okay, so let's walk around here. Let's take a look at the space, the window out here, because there's a lot of things I tried to squeeze out here that you might notice. So I used the space skybox, and unfortunately, like with the way I positioned the ship, it's not facing, there's like a cool red effect on the other side of the skybox, but I don't know, for some reason it was phasing on the black side. But we have different things out here, you'll notice. We've got 2 NPCs that are unlockable avatars in the game when you actually unlock all the emotes. And they're also in the Cursed Cave, like jail area, but we have like bootleg Doodle Dip, like the Space Kids, basically. It's from the Space Kids game. So I created bootleg versions of them and stuck them out in space with like a rotation code. And they're also, the models are also in like the jail area of the Cursed Caves. But I can show like what they actually look like close up here. I think originally there might have been plans at one point to make the Doodle Dip NPC walkable, since the feet are actually separate from the body model, but I don't really know what happened with that. That probably would have taken extra time anyways, but you can still play as the Doodle Dip and use it as an avatar. It just doesn't have the walking animation with it. So these are these two. It's like the little. So basically, with These are all like really simplistic models that I made in Milkshake, but for the textures I use like a pixel art program called Pixel to kind of make it a little more retro looking with the textures. I did the same thing with some of the other model, like low poly models I created as well. Doodle Dip and his sister. I forgot the actual fake names we gave them. I don't know. It's something that like Sphinx came up with that I don't even remember. So we got our space kids floating out here. We have Carl Pilkington as an orange, which is another like sprite thing that I took from VineRealms. And we have our floating pizza out here, just so appropriate. Let's see here. I mean, there's a lot of like Star Trek references here. I forgot to mention too, with the teleporter, and you might notice this around the ship too, but a lot of the font, a lot of the language that's here is, I think it's like a really basic, like, I forgot what it's called. It's just like a fake, like, lunar language that is on the internet, that was used for some of these Scumsoft games for, like, the ARG to kind of figure out, it was used as, like, a code thing, and there's, like, a code wheel, involved with it in order to figure out, to unlock stuff with the ARG, because there's, like, the Scumsoft website, and there was the ARG tied to it, and there's like all these like little codes or hints that people had to figure out to unlock more things. And eventually, I think the Bullet Sponge game was the thing that was hidden in the website, or there was something that people were directed to unlock it. But this like lunar, this moon language was used as like a sort of like code language that people had to use like a little code wheel to figure out stuff. And I used that to create, I don't know, there's like, I forget what the memes are. I can't even remember what I put in here. These are actual things that were written out. They're like memes. Some of them are related to Star Trek. Some of them are just like Vinesauce memes that I can't even remember what they are. I think one of these are like the McClunky meme from AI Dungeon. Shit, I don't even know. You'll have to find out yourself if you know how to use you just use the lunar language, and if you look online, there's like a little thing for the lunar language, and it probably has the translation of what the letters are in English. You can use that to figure it out. Let's see here. So we have like a bunch of different panels. I repeated some of these panels on other areas of the ship. So this is a reference to Outer Wilds, which I believe Vinny was playing at the time that we were creating this game. So it's a reference to like the whole autopilot thing and how he kept running into the sun if you're not paying attention. Let's see, we have throughout the game we actually have references to Drippy, which is a character, a Scumsoft related character tied to the lore of Scumsoft. And I decided to have a Drippy in the containment area here. So that's what this warning sign is, that one of the containers, one of the stasis tubes have been breached, and the little like Drippy Vinny slime clone thing or whatever it is has escaped. And that's where I normally have like the alien Vine alien emote in that little like broken containment thing there, which I will actually go through the containment area in a little bit after I go through some of the stuff here, because there's a lot of things to look at. We have like we have a screen of the psychedelic swamp, and the reason I put that in there is because it's implied that the alien ship is taking you from there, so thought I'd make a reference to that. Like I said, I don't remember what these say. You'll have to figure it out yourself. We have different, so I use on this screen, we have different planets from the little, like, decoder ring thing, that Sphinx put together. I decided to use some of the planets from that, and if you, like, wait here for a second and watch, you might see some, extra things. So we have, like, the shitty bootleg Luigi, then there's one more thing, and then we have Bulk Bogan's head, too. I don't know, I just threw that in there randomly, so... that's also repeated on the panel here as well. And then for other TNG references, I of course couldn't help but put the buff Riker in here. I just turned him into like an alien. And then on the next screen, we actually have, I think I asked Mono, so the Monotonous, Mono, created the ship model. And I think I asked him if he could get me different shots of the wireframe of the ship so that I could have them displayed in the ship. I took that and let's see if I should have the actual image I used for that here. Oh yeah, here we go. The ship schematic basically is what we called it. So this is what he sent me here. And then I took this and I have like different photo editing programs and stuff. Let's see if we can remove this. And I actually, okay, export please. And I took that and put it through like some photo editing stuff so to kind of like create this like green glow. And then of course I used Unity's own I don't know, texture editing stuff to kind of get this green glow to it. Let's see, here we have, so this is another like Scrungus and the Chunky Fungus reference. Another reference to a Scumsoft game, and this is also a reference to Star Wars, Harrison Ford or Han Solo in the Carbonite. So I created a little thing with Scrungus being in the Carbonite. And then we have the some of the test subjects listed here in the containment area, and unfortunately I didn't put anything so that you could stand on and see it closer, but you should be able to read some of the stuff from here. So we have one, so subject fused with hardened leather will execute DMC2.exe on command. Status for usefulness is being debated. I'll actually show you those. 02, brain mass of subject has been tripled. Smoothing has occurred, however, incapable of functioning after 4 AM. So most of these are actually Vinny references or memes. You have subject 3, subject combined with cosmic entity, sustained on a diet of pizza and coffee, lacks motivation to destroy universe. 4, waterfowl infused with subject's DNA, only responds to entity known as Scoot, being considered for covert operations. 5, structural integrity as subject is failing. Disposal or employment to Scumsoft will be decided upon. That's a reference to our little like Vinny drippy slime clone that we have going on there. Number 6 is coded, but I have very good reason for it being coded, so you have to do the extra work to decode it in relation to the cursed subject that it's referencing. 7, fusion of 2 frientities. Potential of ultimate life form is possible with cooperation of brain function. And 8, subject combined with land-based avian, disturbed by its own existence. Status for usefulness is being debated. Now, number 7, the ultimate life form. I actually have a little like X-ray thing that I did here, and this is the Joel Vinny friend fusion that I have in the containment area. I just thought it'd be fun to put like a little X-ray of his body there. Actually, I thought it'd be fun just to like draw what a friend's insides could possibly look like. So we're gonna take a look at the containment area, and then I'll come back and cover some of the other little things I missed, like the alien NPCs, and then some of the other things here. So we're going into the containment area. Now this was not originally part of my plan when creating the ship, but as something extra, it was suggested by Sphinx as something extra to add. That way there are more areas for the players to kind of explore on the ship, and it wasn't just the bridge. I think I can't remember what sort of room he suggested. Maybe it's sort of like another hallway that players could go through. I decided to create like a little lab area with stasis tubes. And originally, Sphinx threw me some like weird like meme characters or something. Some like weird obscure meme characters that we were going to shove in the containment tubes. And then I thought, I was thinking about some of my ideas because I used Before this started, I had a bunch of ideas I borrowed from a second version of VineRealms that I was thinking of working on, like a 3D one. And I was actually going to have this lab area that had all the different, all these like different reject Vinnies based on like the butchery of his name, like Booty or Binyard or Boatyard or anything like that. That's what I based this on. I was like, oh, maybe I should actually do that here. So I drew up all these like weird like mutated Vinnies and shoved them in these like stasis tubes that I modeled in milk shape, and then I used like Unity's stuff to create sort of like a transparent effect and then animation to make them look like they were floating. If I wanted to go through the extra mile, I could have put like a bunch of particle effects in here to kind of look like they're in like a chemical, some sort of like fluid or water, to put bubbles in it, but I didn't do that because I think like putting too many particle effects in an area can actually slow it down, so I was like, nah, I won't do that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention when coming into the ship. So this is, there's actually two different two different like music things that are done for the ship. There's this, when you actually come in here, this is like an old song called Space Garden that I did, that you'll hear when getting teleported into the ship. It's like one I did like, maybe 4 years ago, and it's just something I did on my own. It wasn't related to a game or anything, and I thought I'd use it for this, and it was, the actual song itself was sort of inspired by TNG in a way, so it fit for the ship. And then when you go into the containment area, it kind of fades out. And we have like, I also did some weird like sound ambience for the laboratory area. So if you stand here, you can hear like different things. We have our brain yacht here. Our smooth brain yacht mutated Vinny here with your baby. Reference to Ringo's art on his shirt. I had way too much fun drawing like really fucked up Vinnies for this. Vinny knows I mean well. Even though I drew like horrible things of him. This is Squid Vinny. I don't really know where I got the idea from it. I just thought he would be great as like some weird like cosmic horror thing. And then, of course, I couldn't help but, how could you not have Duck Vinny? I absolutely had to add that in here. So we have our Duck Vinny, of course, in green. Here's our Drippy Vinny here, which escaped from his containment. And this is normally where we would have the Divine Alien here. So actually, for the broken glass, I actually took the original model I had for the stasis tube, which I actually think I partly modeled that with Unity's like Pro Builder tools or whatever. I keep forgetting what it's called. And I exported it out to milk shape, and then I sort of like chopped off some of the like triangles and stuff in the actual like mesh to make it look broken, and then I like exported it back into Unity and added some like extra like slime puddles and stuff here. Here's our cursed subject here. I kind of hesitated putting this in, but I was like, you know what, this is an area with like really fucking horrible like reject mutated subjects, so why not put Vlenny in here? He's a very special looking Vlenny because he has a centipede for an arm, and if you, I might as well just reveal, if you actually decode the message here, it does say that he's scheduled to be ejected into the sun because he is a rejected subject. Here's our Joel Vinny fusion friend, also the ultimate life form. And then we have like an old Vinesauce meme referenced here, which is the sad emu, and I just combined that with Vinny for a very like weird fucking mutant of emu and human. That is it for the containment area. Let's go talk to some of these alien NPCs, which were all drawn by Scootley. Yes, which is what they were planning to do to Valeni. Okay, so that's the only... I believe I'm the one who wrote this line here. Okay. Let's go talk to our worker alien. Also reference to the Outer Worlds autopilot. Okay, I think that's... So I did write most of the lines for these. Let's see, I'm trying to think if I added anything else on these panels here. No, I didn't. Then we have our alien leader. So I also wrote this, and this is a reference to the primary directive in TNG, which Picard goes against quite a few times, and you have to think that it wouldn't be as entertaining or for the sake of like the plot in the series if he didn't go against the prime directive. So that's what that's a reference to. So someone rewrote the line for Earl Grey. Yeah, that's another Picard reference as well. Let's see, is there anything else? No, okay. And once again, these are all made from Desert Pagona's voice lines, all like different pitches. And here we have this is also done by Mono. It's sort of like a reference to, it's both a reference to Silent Hill and I guess Egg Think, which is I think a meme that he uses. I'm not quite sure. But this is the channeling stone. And of course, Silent Hill's known for having like the mysterious like alien endings too. So that's a reference to that. I think the channeling stone is used to get to that. I know in like the I know in Silent Hill 2 and 3 there are different methods of getting the alien ending from what I remember. I'm not quite sure, but I believe this channeling stone was used to get the alien ending in the first game. I can't quite remember. I should know because I played the games, but that's what that's a reference to. And if you actually look very closely on the side of the model here that Mono created, it has egg written all over the side. And so I put that in this little like special containment. Let's talk to our, this is our Lidl alien. Take me to your Lidl. Okay, so that's the only thing he says. I think that's it for the alien ship. And that might be all for this part of the dev talk. I wanted to... I'm trying to think if there's anything else in... But I wanted to, for part 3, I actually wanted to go over some of the other things in the other areas that the dev team worked on that I may have helped with. Just like little itty bitty things. But I also wanted to do some interviews with people that I know that worked on the game as well, like maybe like one of the artists and also like musicians like Bass Clef who worked on the music in the game. I thought it'd be a fun little thing to do for the third part, and also just go over other stuff because there's like all the like conceptual stuff that we worked on before we even got to doing the levels in Unity that I kind of want to go over. And of course I want to do the interviews will be fun to do as well, to kind of like combine with that. So when that will happen, I don't know, whenever I can get people together to do it, but I think it'll be fun. And thank you again for like tuning in for the second part, for like finding out how this stuff came together. And your interest in this game, and also your support if you played it as well. I guess stay tuned for part 3, where I go over some general stuff in the game, and then possibly interview some people who also worked on the game as well.